Welcome back, everybody. 6:03 a.m. November 9th, 2017. Alright, we got a quick space update for all the space geeks, myself included. We finally got an answer to a question we were trying to figure out back in September and October. We were following an object for basically a solid month it took to reach from one end of the LASCO C3 cam foreground viewable area to the other. It took an entire month just to give you a little idea of how big space actually is. But again, we were looking at this object. Now I'm going to hit play here. This is the video we had posted. You can see the object right here where my secondary mouse cursor is. It's following it. So you can see it's moving out of sync with the stars. Now when you're watching the LASCO C3 cam, you know that all the stars in the foreground move together in unison. They aren't shifting distances between each other. And they're just moving as one big, it almost looks like just like a sheet of paper moving past your face when you're looking at this camera. And then we have the planets that will come either from the right side or the left side depending on our orbit speed and if we're catching up to them or if they're moving faster, so on and so forth. Anyway, so we were trying to find out what this object was, and I couldn't find anything on the internet. I'm actually surprised we didn't find the answer to this. It was pretty simple apparently, but I actually got an email from HelioViewer. I emailed them, and I also emailed NASA, believe it or not, to ask about this thing. And we sent this out on September 30th and finally just got a response yesterday. So that would make it, yes, November 8th, actually. Yesterday is when I got the email. So I know it says 19 hours ago here, but this is actually a snapshot I took, so I didn't have to go through and pull up my entire email. But what they did was they sent me this link, and they say right here, I believe you have spotted the transit of Vesta. This is Comet Vesta they're talking about. I hope this helps. Thanks for contacting us and using HelioViewer, which is a website where you can go and backtrack and create high quality videos of these cameras for documentation and stuff like that. I do it all the time. It's actually a lot of fun if you enjoy looking for things and finding different discoveries, whatnot. That's kind of how we found this. It just looked odd. It was a slower object being bypassed by the stars, and that clearly means it's something. It's some physical object out in space, and we just didn't know exactly what it was. So, as far as HelioViewer can tell us, they believe it's Comet Vesta. Now, this link they sent me actually runs right to this picture. There's a website with this picture on it, and if you notice, right in the same area where we were following this object, here is the center disk that is covered up by the arm of the satellite that we see in this camera. And you can see right here from September 12th, at least this year, to October 12th, this object was projected to pass right across the LASCO C3 viewer, and that's exactly where it was. So I pulled up a couple snapshots I took that I actually sent. This is one of the ones I sent to HelioViewer and NASA, and you can see right here on the 27th is when I snapped these pictures. So we were following this thing in early September. And then if you just do a basic lineup here, it doesn't have to be perfect because there's a lot of space between the highest levels here, which is Mercury in December and then Mercury in April. The next thing possible would be this passing of Comet Vesta, and that shows right in this area. So it's more than likely that's exactly what it is. It's really cool that we actually got an answer from these people. I know it took over a month, but you know, I'm sure if we did a little extra digging, if we didn't have so much weather to talk about, we would have found out the answer to this. But I know there was other channels trying to figure out what this was, and we didn't know if it was a rogue planet, blah, blah, blah. You know, we took a lot of heat for that, but you know what? You never know. We don't know what's up there. We're not, you know, up in there with a spacesuit on looking at this stuff. We only see what we can see with these cameras, and then if we're lucky enough, we see it in the night sky. So you can see it right here, guys. This would be Comet Vesta. It took a month to reach one end of the camera to the other. I pulled up a little bit of research for you guys that I will post down in the description box. Now, Comet Vesta is one of the biggest objects in the asteroid belt, and last time I checked, there is a whole lot of objects in the asteroid belt, so that is pretty significant info. This is a big comet. You can actually see this thing from Earth, depending on where it is in its orbit. I believe its orbit is about 3.6 Earth years, if I'm not mistaken. Actually, let's look to make sure. What do we got here? Orbital period, yeah, 3.6 years. Okay, so we're good. So what does it say? 1,325 days, or is that, yeah, 1,325 days. So that's the orbital period of this thing. So we'll probably see it on LASCO every 3 years. So that was a pretty cool event. And a lot of other cool info on here. This thing is massive. It's 525 kilometers in diameter. That's pretty big. In fact, they have a picture here comparing it with the moon. So here's our moon, and this would be Vesta right here, and this is Sirius. So it's almost, it looks to be about half the size of Sirius, that rogue planetish type comet type moon looking thing. And here are some high def images of it if you guys want to check it out. So I will leave this all in the description box. And again, I just wanted to clarify this stuff for those of you that were curious about this, and I thought it was important to show that HelioViewer actually answered our emails, and it looks to me like they gave us a pretty accurate answer. So that's where we are for now on this discovery. This one is case closed. I should have a weather update posted right after this video before I head to work. Thank you guys so much. Hope you have a great morning. Talk to you soon.